I'm a little bit concerned. So let's see how that goes. What could possibly go wrong? I have a big problem and I don't know what to do. I'm going to be travelling 1,000 miles in an ID Buzz. How will it cope? How much will it cost? Is it going to be my next van? I've only ever driven an ID Buzz for 30 minutes. And to be honest with you, that's the only electric vehicle which I've driven. I've never actually charged one. So how am I going to cope with that? How is the charging network? A lot of people say that is one of their main concerns. So I'm going to find out. Am I going to get range anxiety? I certainly hope not, because I'm going to be doing this journey not alone. I'm going to be doing it with some other people on quite a long road trip. It is going to be extremely interesting, and I hope it's going to be a success. I currently have no relationship with Volkswagen, and none of the dealers local to me actually hire. So I'm having to travel from Plymouth, where I live, over to Poole to see Breeze VW. So I'm heading there now, and it's an absolutely beautiful day. And completely coincidentally, I do get the VW press releases, and last night a press release came through. Included in it was Michael Gunner, who's the commercial director of Breeze Motor Group, and he's actually got the golden pin, that prestigious award for people who go above and beyond for the brand and also the customers. So congratulations, Michael, and maybe I'll bump into you this morning. Anyway, as you can see, I'm traveling in my transporter, making the way over there. It's probably a couple of hours, and it's about 120 miles. So on the way back, when I picked up the ID Buzz, I'm not expecting to charge. But it's going to be interesting to see how the consumption of it goes. Like I say, I've never charged before, so that first experience of me charging is going to be an experience. I have to say, I'm really excited about this. That first drive I actually had with the ID Buzz, which is probably nearly 2 years ago now, maybe more, I really liked it. And I've kind of always had it in my head since that one day I would like to actually own one. And now that I'm doing this, because this isn't just a case of just seeing if the vehicle's any good, seeing what I think of it. It genuinely is. I am interested in this vehicle, and this really is going to be that test. Is it left here? Looks like it's left here. Ford? Ford? Don't I go Ford? Oh, here it is, Breeze. And there's an ID Buzz, there's two ID Buzz, twin tone, two-tone. Is this it here? Yeah, this is the van centre. Loads of, two-tone bailiff green. Two-tone bailiff green. Oh, it could be. Oh, do you know what? Oh, it says demonstrator on it. Oh, I don't know. Where am I parking? Where shall I park? Shall I park there? Well, as you can see, I'm no longer at the dealership. Picked it up after spending quite a bit of time there speaking to the guys. Really, really nice guys. And yeah, I know some of you will say that they're obviously being nice because they're trying to sell you, but no, we were having some really good conversations about Volkswagens and campervans and various different things. So yeah, thank you, Bradley, Justin, and Michael. Yes, I did meet Michael, and I managed to congratulate him on his award. And yeah, very appreciative for the time which he spent with me, not only talking to him about the ID Buzz, but about the other things which we spoke about, as well as in the California and some interesting things which you're up to in the future. So look at this, it's beautiful, isn't it? So yeah, absolutely love this place. Sandbanks. Started coming here, I don't know, 40 odd years ago as a child, and yeah, I've just loved it. I learned to windsurf at this very, very place. Sandbanks, very, very shallow. And as I was coming past, I actually passed Sandbanks style. You know, you might have seen regular viewers where I've got my paddleboard and my kayak from. They're just up the road. And yeah, this is where I learned to windsurf. But you're not here to listen about my past, are you? You're here to see the ID Buzz. And it isn't the two-tone. It's not the bay leaf green and the candy white, unfortunately. But it is candy white. Just look at that. Going to show you more of that as the time goes by. Going to attach some cameras to it now, talk about what I think of it, my initial impressions. Because I've just driven about, I think it's 5 miles down here. So have a drive home, got about 120 miles home. Won't need to charge, although I have found out how to charge. And I am going to be doing that quite a lot over the next few days because, yeah, it's going to be about 1,000 miles. Anyway, it's a bit noisy here, so let's move away and start this weekend. Just initial impressions whilst I'm travelling in this. And obviously I'm going to go far more into detail than this over the next couple of days. Don't worry, the video's not days long. But it's so smooth, so quiet. And I've only driven 5 miles, so don't get me wrong, that my opinion of the seat could change. But just the way it's contoured, the way it makes you feel in the seat. Yeah, initial impressions, I like it. Come back to me on that when I've driven several hours tomorrow, about 300 miles, and then 300 miles back on Sunday. I've not told you where I'm going yet, have I? Yeah, I shall tell you about that in a little moment. But look at this beautiful scenery where we are. Love this place, absolutely love it. Not a place I'd ever live. Obviously the price of properties here is extremely expensive. But yeah, I do absolutely love Sandbanks. There's Sandbanks style. Not got time to stop today, need to be getting back, but love my Sandbanks style paddleboard and kayak. Definitely coming over here this year. This has certainly given me that refreshed, whatever you call it, just to come back and spend some time here, especially with the sun out. I mean, beautiful. Blue sky, nice white fluffy clouds, a little bit chilly. Yeah, a little bit chilly. Yeah, that's another thing. So with electric vehicles, obviously the temperature does affect how that battery performs. And as we are going up north tomorrow, it's meant to be about -1. So yeah, so that's going to be certainly interesting as far as the battery's concerned. But this is a proper test to see if I could live with it. So let's throw all that out there and see just how I actually cope with it. So I'm about 50 miles into the journey. So again, initial driving impressions, it's still quiet and it's still very smooth. Just going up one of the hills just back there, and there was a diesel vehicle in front. And as it's going up this hill, it's puffing out all this black stuff. And I just thought, yeah, this one isn't doing that. Let's not get into an argument about kind of all that stuff. But from what I've realised so far, what I really like is the size of this screen. People who see my channel and people who've seen my previous videos, you'll know that I've got the Alpine Halo 11, which is a big old unit, 11 inches. However, this one is 12. And I do have one gripe with it, and I'm going to see how we get on over the course of the weekend. I think it might just be something which I need to get used to, so yeah, I will come back to that. But it's just massive. It's just a great big real estate. There's just loads of room on there. I've got my Apple CarPlay, just listening to a podcast at the moment, and yeah, I'm really, really liking that. Colour scheme, I'll talk about this more when we actually get out and start having a proper look around the vehicle. But what am I doing this weekend? Well, now I'm travelling from Poole to Plymouth, so it's about 120 miles. Going out again in the vehicle this evening with all the family. We're going to have something to eat, and that's probably, well, it will be my first experience of actually charging an electric vehicle. So let's see how that goes. What could possibly go wrong? And then tomorrow morning at 6:30 in the morning, we're setting off on a journey. Plymouth Argyle are playing Man City this weekend at the Etihad. Yeah, it could be an interesting game. So we're travelling up there, parking at a hotel, so that's going to be about 300 miles. Obviously watching the game, staying overnight. In the morning we'll be leaving, going to the Trafford Centre, and I think that's going to be the main charge. So once we've finished at the Trafford Centre, I'll have a full charge, and then we shall set back off home, back to Plymouth. And I'm going to have to stop, hopefully, at least once, but I'll know more after tomorrow. And then on Monday morning, I'm going to be bringing the vehicle back. So I have paid for the hire of this vehicle. I can show you that I paid for it. And I've actually taken 2 days off work just to do it. Yeah, I only do this as a hobby, and most of the time it is just holidays, weekends and evenings. But this was something that I really, really wanted to do. Anyway, I shall carry on with my journey and update if there's anything else that occurs. Good morning. We've started our 300 miles journey north to Manchester to watch Argyle versus Man City. And it's -2 degrees at the moment. And this is obviously a bit of a test to find out whether the suitability of this vehicle would replace my transporter. And if this last 15 minutes is anything to go by, I'm a little bit concerned. It is -2.5 now it's actually gone down to. And we know that that really does affect the battery. So I set off this morning, like I say, 23 minutes ago, and I had 94% battery. I've now got 80% battery, and the range is only 156. So I'm guessing it's something to do with the temperature, only just got in the vehicle, because the miles per kilowatt hour is also very low. And bearing in mind, yesterday I was really quite impressed because I did 141 miles and only lost 40% battery. So after yesterday's journey from picking it up, I was really quite looking forward to it, quite excited, thinking it is going to be perfect, it is going to do this journey. But now at -2.5 degrees, I'm not too sure. Anyway, I shall report back on that in a little while. But last night I had my first charging experience. So under normal circumstances, I'd have picked the vehicle up, brought it home, plugged it in at home, job's a good one. But I've not got a home charger at the moment, unless I buy one. So I had to go out and find a charger. So that's an expense which most people, if you've got a vehicle and you're prepared for it and you've got your charger at home, you wouldn't have. So let's forget the expense. But I went to Sainsbury's and I didn't film it because the sun was setting, it was getting quite dark, didn't have time before it went dark, I was completely on my own, so I just needed to do it without setting up all the cameras, because by the time I'd set the cameras up, it'd have been dark. It was so easy. So turned up at the charger, reversed into it, opened the flap, looked at the screen, and it said, plug the cable into your car, do this with your card, and then off you go. And it literally was exactly as simple as that. I think it took pre-authorization for 30 quid or something like that. So I went into Sainsbury's, came out, and it had charged to 80% in about half an hour, I think it was, and it cost 23 quid. It's like I say, 23 quid, kind of irrelevant because normally that would have been a charge at home. But it was so easy. The process was so easy. Availability charges, not a problem at all. So yeah, first charging experience, cannot argue with that at all. So that's not going to be the only charging experience though, is it? Looking at this, yeah, down to 150 miles, 77% battery after 25 minutes. I'll leave that with you for now, and I'm going to carry on the journey and report back soon. Well, we're now 2 miles away from the planned stop, fortunately, which we've done 139 miles. So the planned stop is Gloucester Services, and we're down to 12% battery with 24 miles of range left. So we've done 139 miles off about maybe an 80% charge. So I think, and this is me just thinking, I don't know, I mean the temperature's only just got up to 1.5 degrees, so it is still really cold. So is that what's affecting it, or am I doing something else wrong? That's kind of what this is about. It's a learning process. I'm trying to figure out, would this be suitable for me, and just kind of getting used to it. I've not talked about the spec of the vehicle yet, but I am going to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that tomorrow, because this vehicle has got quite a lot of spec on it, but what I want to do is explain what the point of it is. Like, because, I mean, I mentioned yesterday about the 12-inch display. It's a big display, but like, why is it necessary? And there's a few other bits of spec which this vehicle has, and I want to explain the benefits of why, and actually the real purpose of it, like the real use, how I've actually got on with it whilst I've been driving the vehicle. So yeah, so do stay tuned. That is going to be obviously later in the video, but tomorrow in my world. And we don't know what the result's going to be yet, whether Argyle are going to lose 5-0 or 10-0. Who knows? Anyway, here we are at the farm shop. Let's hope that this charger's still available. with the way that this vehicle is, you can obviously check whether chargers are available before you actually get to the services. So we did check probably about 15 minutes or so ago, and there were chargers available. So hopefully there are gonna be some. So let's go and find where they are. Here it is. Oh, there's another ID Buzz. So we've arrived at the hotel in Altrincham. That was after, obviously, the stop which we had, and it was really, really easy. Absolutely no problems at all. So that was the Gloucester Services in North, so I'm presuming the South is going to be exactly the same on the way back. Really, really fast charger. I think it put in about 70 kilowatts of power. We weren't there for very long at all, just enough time to have breakfast, have a little bite to eat, go to the toilet, and then back in. And by the time we got back, it was already up there to 94%, I think it was. So yeah, so we had a really good charge, and now we've arrived at the hotel in Altrincham because we're staying just on the outskirts, down now to 42%. And yeah, we've driven nearly 300 miles today. So yeah, really, really pleased. We're going to be leaving the vehicle now. We're going to be checking into the hotel, making our way over to the Etihad Stadium to watch the game, which is going to be interesting. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased. Learning more and more, the more I've been driving the vehicle today. So lots to report back when I actually do the talking about the actual review of the, not review, but like I say, talking about some of the features. But I've got my disc lock here, and disc lock, so this is the disc lock which I have, and funny enough, I've actually had a disc lock now for years. I mean, that particular one is relatively new, maybe 10 years old or something like that, but I actually had one of the original ones many years ago, and I never knew that it's actually from the same company, the same group of companies, that MyRider. So the MyRider bike, which I'll also show you going into the back of this as well when I talk about the spec tomorrow. But it's from the same group of companies, never knew that. I was talking to him at the NEC show, and he was saying that they've obviously got this constant chase of new technologies coming out with portable hand tools, angle grinders and things like that, and obviously the materials over the years have changed. So that was actually quite interesting that they've got a new one out now. I think he said it's called is it the Diamond or the Platinum? Not available on Amazon, don't think, or anything like that. I think it's only available from themselves and maybe Halfords. But yeah, it's a new one now, so it is more expensive than the other one. Stronger materials to make sure that people can't angle grind through it. So anyway, this is the older one. I'm going to pop that on now. Hopefully nobody's going to try and nick it. Anyway, off to the Etihad. I shall catch up with you later on. So on our way out again, just left the hotel, and oh my word, did you see the game yesterday? I was expecting to get absolutely annihilated, but Argyle scored first, and then they only just managed to lose 3-1. So I got in the Buzz this morning, and one of the things which I wanted to try is, or see, when you actually get in the vehicle after being out of it the day before, does it lose any charge? Because I know a few people have asked that. I've actually been asked a couple of times since being up here, and the answer is no. Got in it this morning at exactly the same battery percentage and the same mileage as when I got out of it yesterday. So no, it doesn't lose anything. So yesterday, whilst we was actually watching Argyle, before the game, we actually met up with quite a few different people, and they knew that I was bringing the Buzz up, and they were saying silly things. How many times did you have to stop? Did you have to stop 5 times? And obviously I explained, no, we only had to stop the once. And I was kind of giving them my initial impressions. And the initial impressions are, to drive, it's absolutely wonderful. It's a really, really nice drive, really smooth, really comfortable. I mean, some of these bumps and gradients which we're going over now, in my T6, it'd be certainly a lot firmer, a lot more uncomfortable ride. Maybe my suspension's just not good enough, but this just glides over them really, really nice. Everything about the setup in here is nice, but I'll come on to that when I do talk about the setup of it a little bit more. So we're on the way to the Trafford Centre. We're going to spend a few hours there. But the second reason I wanted to do it is because part of the Volkswagen group, there's a charge network, which I'll talk to you about a little bit more later, which is WeCharge, and there's a WeCharge charger at the Trafford Centre. So it just kind of fits in perfectly that we're going to be spending a few hours there anyway. There's a WeCharger there, so why not kind of kill two birds with one stone? So yeah, so I'm going to be utilising their charger, see how easy it is to use, because it is all set up to be used for the Volkswagen. So, don't know, I guess we'll find out. We're on our way now, and we'll be there in about 10 minutes. So we're just coming up to it on the left here. Oh, it's blocked off. Pointing the camera that way, I can't get in. There's a barrier and a massive crane. That WeCharge. I can't use WeCharge, right? I need to do something else. Right, I don't know where I'm going now. Help! Right, I'm going to go left and find out if there's any more charges. Right, I'm going to have to check out the sat nav. Right, so found the chargers over here. Good job there's no traffic in there. And there is some free, so it's good. So, left the Trafford Centre. Well, actually quite a while ago now, it's just gone 5 o'clock. So the issue which I had at the Trafford Centre was the charger, the big charger, 150 kilowatt rapid charger was blocked off. There was a big crane there, obviously doing some work or something, which was frustrating because it didn't say that on the app. So obviously I went round the corner, managed to park up. It was only 7 kilowatts, but it didn't really matter because with rapid chargers, I was going to go down the road and get another rapid charger. It was fine. Still had 41% from the day before, so it wasn't a major issue. But that is kind of one of those frustrations which I had prior to hiring this vehicle, that if you intend to go to a charger and it's not working, then it is frustration. I thought that had been fixed, and to be honest with you, it has. I've actually just been kind of checking out charging stations, and most of them have been absolutely fine. We was in the Trafford Centre, and when we were coming out, we realised that it was only shut because nothing opened until 12 o'clock. So they was doing that work prior to everything opening at 12 o'clock. So if I'd actually got there at normal time, like everybody else did, everybody else who decided that they were going to use those chargers later on would have been fine. After that, we took a trip cross country to St Helens for a darts superstore. They got 2 lads with us, and they wanted to go to the darts superstore. So we went there, looked on the app, right, where can I charge? Perfect, 50 kilowatt charger, just outside effectively this darts place. Went down, plugged in, contactless card, no problem at all, started charging, full charge. It isn't an issue. One of the gripes, which it isn't really a gripe I don't think, because once you've had a vehicle for a length of time, you'll know all the different charging stations, all the different service providers, you'll have registered for all the apps, which is not a bad thing that you would have done it, but it'd be great, wouldn't it, if you could just have one. Obviously at the moment you can't, and I don't think you ever will do really, because it's obviously different service providers all charging different rates. So I guess it's just a case of just getting used to them, or really planning your journeys. Like I wanted to test the WeCharge, which I haven't yet because that one didn't work, but I will do hopefully before this goes back, which is actually tomorrow. So I've not really got an awful lot of time. I really could do with hiring it for longer, because yes, I'm doing it for the big journey, about 1,000 miles all in all, but it'd be nice just to see it in daily use. The use purpose, which I know it'd be great for, just to see exactly, you know, how good it really is. Obviously yesterday when we set off it was -2 or something like that, so it was really cold, and I did say that the range, the expected range I was getting, the way it was performing was quite concerning. And I did hope that with the warmer temperatures, it would obviously improve. And I am pleased to say it has. We're now at 9 degrees, so it's a balmy. The sun's out, as you can see. Struck my camera on, struggling here to try and keep the sun off me. But we're getting far, far better. I'm now, I think I've done about 100 miles, and I've used about 44%. That's just an approximate, which is pretty good and far, far better than yesterday. So hopefully that will continue to be good as the temperature drops. As we get further and further home, it is going to get colder because obviously it is going to be getting later. But yeah, I am really, really pleased that now it's warmer, that has got better. And I was speaking to a few people yesterday who've got electric vehicles, and they did say that, yeah, with an electric vehicle, you will be surprised how much it really does affect the consumption. So yeah, so it wasn't me doing anything wrong. I was doing everything okay. It's just electric vehicles. It's just batteries, and we probably know that from our daily lives. Batteries don't operate as well when they're cold. It's just one of those things. Anyway, I shall carry on with my journey and update you again in a little while. Well, now you find me the next day taking the ID Buzz back to the dealership. The try before you buy has been fantastic, really giving me an insight into how to use it. But I'll come on to all my findings, what my final thoughts are, would I actually buy one, the costs, etc. I shall do that in a little while. But I want to talk about what happened last night. So when you left me last night, we'd left St Helens and was on the way to the next stop. So Gloucester Services, I decided what I was going to do was going to stop at Gloucester Services, have a quick rapid charge there, carry on going, and then go to Taunton Deane. And from Taunton Deane, then we'd carry on home. I'd have a reasonable amount of charge, which would enable me to be not having to stop this morning straight away, continue my journey, and then stop a little closer to the dealership in Poole. However, Gloucester Services, absolutely fantastic, really, really good, really easy to use. Got some nice shots of when the sun was going down. But yeah, that service station, rapid chargers, and they just work really well. So whilst I was there, went back onto an app. So I had a quick look at Bridgewater, and there was some chargers there. There was slower chargers, and then there was a 200 kilowatt charger. So I thought, well, that might actually be okay, but it was a little bit off the motorway, as that kind of service station is anyway. But this was on an industrial park. Anyway, the lads actually wanted a drink, so I thought, well, I'll just go into Bridgewater anyway, stop, let them buy a drink, just plug into a 22 kilowatt for 10-15 minutes, give it a little boost, just to test a different charger. Nice to test a different charger, because it's been quite a good experience. So I got there, and they've only got 2 chargers at Bridgewater, and one of them was being used, one of them was being plugged in, and the other one, they had a car parked there, not plugged in, not charging, nobody in the car. And for the first time ever, I'd been annoyed at somebody being parked in an EV bay when they weren't actually charging. There was only 2 chargers, and this car was parked there. Why? There's loads of car parking spaces at Bridgewater, absolutely loads. So why have you put yourself in an EV bay when you're not actually charging? Not a big deal, as I say, because I wasn't meant to be doing a full charge there anyway, but that really quite frustrated me. So we carried on to Exeter Services. And bearing in mind at this point, didn't really need much of a charge because I already had juice anyway. I just wanted to give it an extra for this morning's purposes. Got down to Exeter Services. Wow, what can I say? So Exeter Services, they've got some Tesla superchargers. They've had those for quite a while, loads and loads of bays, but they've now got, I don't know how many. They have got loads and loads of rapid chargers, operated by GridServe. So again, it was another app which I needed to download. No major issue. downloaded this app, and I have to say that's probably the best charging app which I've come across so far. Really, really good, really informative, gives you lots and lots of information, and yeah, really, really easy to use. So gave it a rapid charge. Can't remember what rate it was charging at, but it was very good. I have to say, very, very impressed with GridServe. So yeah, so that was the charging experience last night. Got home, job's a good one. Oh no. Actually, we encountered, as we were coming from Gloucester Services, got Apple CarPlay on, this nice big screen, and as we was travelling, it said, save yourself 35 minutes or something by taking this route. So it was like, flipping heck, that's a major diversion. What's going on there? So I had a quick look, couldn't really see. My passenger, Walshire, he had a quick look and he couldn't actually see what was going on. So we just continued. And as we approached it, you could see that it was trying to direct me off, and you could just see traffic, like loads of traffic, loads of brake lights. So we thought, right, let's divert. So went off single track lanes. This handled absolutely brilliantly. Really, really comfortable, because single track lanes can be, quite all over the place, especially when you've got a strip of grass in the middle. You're kind of going off road then. Don't worry, Volkswagen Breeze, it wasn't off road. The roads were smooth. I've actually got some footage of it. Learned something else there as well. But the point is, Apple CarPlay warned me, and I know it's not specific to this vehicle, but boy, did it really, really save us there. Because when we got home and actually checked, and it was still happening. There was, you could see there was lots of blue lights, blue flashing lights. Don't know what they were, I couldn't quite see, I was driving. But yeah, there had been some kind of major incident there. So yeah, so the Apple CarPlay saved us. But the lights, so this has got the IQ Matrix headlights. And wow, what a difference. I mean, we know that the Transporter headlights standard, when they're not LEDs, are pretty poor. The LED lights and the Transporters, etc., have improved, but boy, these IQ headlights are fantastic. Just really, really good. I mean, just on a normal setting, you can see where you're going, which obviously you want to do. But when they put them on the full beam, it just projects. It's like a football floodlight. Really, really good. Yeah, so very, very impressed with those. So yeah, so this morning I'm on my way, taking it back. I'm going to pull over in a little moment and we'll have a bit of a walk around. We'll talk about the spec, what this has got, what it's missing, and is what it's missing actually important. So give me a few minutes, I shall pull over and we shall have another chat. I might have actually wanted to talk about the outside and the spec a little bit before now, because I've actually done 1,000 miles and it's getting a little bit dirty. I do hope none of those black things are actually stone chips, otherwise that's going to cost me. But anyway, this outside of this vehicle, so as you can see, it is candy white. So not the colour choice which I would go for, however, I would actually go for candy white with the bay leaf green, because that is my favourite colour. But actually, buying a candy white vehicle and then actually wrapping it, I might be able to go for like an oak green or something like that and make it look even nicer. But anyway, so we've got these IQ Matrix headlights, and these, like I've just said, are absolutely brilliant. They work really, really well. Light beam going across here, it looks really good. And you can now actually buy aftermarket the badge which lights up as well, and that is really cool. So coming around the side, we've got some alloy wheels, 21-inch Bromberg wheels. They look, well, they're just ID Buzz wheels, aren't they? So they do match the vehicle very well. If it was me, I'd probably go down to a smaller size, but go all-terrain. I do know, Outlandish Campers, they've got a vehicle and it's running all-terrain tyres, 18 inches I think they are, and he's done loads and loads of miles in his, and he said that the mileage has improved, and they're just brilliant, brilliant wheels. So it is a twin slider, because all ID Buzzes are twin sliders. But this one, look at that, it is electric, which, yeah, okay, it might be a little bit gimmicky, but it is absolutely brilliant. So before we go into the front, let's just have a look in at the back. So we've got the saffron Mistral orange coloured these seats. Again, not particularly my choice, but these are so comfortable in the front. I mean, like I say, I've done 1,000 miles, no problems whatsoever. My friend Walsh here, he was in there, and like I've said, he's got an AMG E63, and even he was commenting on how comfortable these seats are. So yeah, very, very impressive. So also in the back, what we've got here, which the lads have been using, is these pop-out tables, and you've got the cup holder there, if you're using the right sort of cup, that is, otherwise it'll just drop straight through. And they've got plenty of room. Now, last night we were coming back quite late, so the lads wanted a bit of a rest, and as you can see that these seats have actually reclined. And in front of them, when I say lads, I mean they're 14, 15 years old, so they've got plenty of room there. You know, that is a massive gap. There is loads and loads of room. USB sockets in the side pockets, and you've got speakers. Now, the negative, as far as I'm concerned, about this particular model, or this particular range, is there's no opening windows there. The new one now does have opening windows, which are electric, which is superb, but yeah, as standard, there's no windows, no opening windows there. So if this was mine, then I would be actually buying some replacement aftermarket windows, which are available. So coming further around the back, again, we've got the IQ lights around here, and these are also pretty cool. They do look nice, especially as you approach the vehicle at night and you've got your keys in your pocket and it lights up. Looks very good. So pop open the tailgate, and again, that's electric, and you've got loads of room in here. So lots and lots of luggage space. You've got storage down the side. You've got some more speakers in here, cup holders, storage pockets. There's loads of storage bins without the vehicle. And I love like these little decals which you've got throughout. There's like little Easter egg type things, and you know, there you go, there's your ID Buzz. You've got the parcel shelf which pulls out so you can cover your goods. And then in this one, we've got the multi-flex board. So you can fold down those seats, turn it into a bed if you wanted to save money and not get a proper camper. And then in here, this is where we've got our power cables. So this one I've been using a lot. This is the one where you plug it in when you're on the, I can't remember the terminology, but it's the lower powered ones, the kind of the 7 kilowatt ones. And then this is like the granny charger, which is, you can plug into your 3-pin, your 3-pin socket, and look at the thickness of that cable, and that is why you cannot use an extension cable. So I couldn't actually use this at home because I didn't have a socket close enough. Well, I did, but I'd have had to mess around, so I didn't do it. And you can't use an extension cable because you're not going to have an extension cable which is thick enough to cater for that ampage. So in here, loads and loads of room. We put our, not suitcases, well we did, we had a couple of suitcases, bags, luggage, whatever. I've tried the MyRider in here. Now, I've got the MyRider 24, and yes, it does fit in at a squeeze, but I'd actually probably be better with the MyRider 20, and I could get that in green. Anyway, but you've obviously got the ability to use the tow bar on the back, and like I said, spec on this one, it's missing 2 things, and that is one of them. It's not got the tow bar. So I'd have the tow bar, put the bike rack on the back, and then carry the bikes through that very easily. So press the button up here, oh, press it once, it goes back up, press it, and there you go, that'll pop back down. So coming around back inside, shut this door, just give it a tap. You can actually do that, you can do it on the key, or you can do it on a little button inside. So inside the actual cab. So the second bit of spec, this is missing or not been optioned, that's the electric seats. Now, I've always been a fan of electric seats, kind of whichever vehicle I've always had, I've always kind of looked for electric seats, although obviously I don't have that in my current transporter, so it's not a big issue. And realistically, once you're in the vehicle, you're not moving it anyway, are you? So you don't really need electric seats. As cool as they are, unless you've got like different people who regularly drive in your different sizes, and you know you want to be using the memory seat option, then actually electric seats may not be really that required. So this vehicle has got the larger display, It's 12 inches. And second gripe on here, in the dark, this here isn't illuminated at night. So when we was coming back last night, it was dark, and then you kind of see the colours, but you don't know exactly, you can't actually see what you're pressing. But again, that has been improved in the latest model. Apple CarPlay, it's got the navigation, inbuilt navigation, and I'm not going to go through all that, but yeah, it's a useful system, and you can see there, it's got your hand gestures as well. So yeah, so this is the Discovery Pro, and with a bigger 12-inch screen, and then you've got your dash in front of you here. And this is good. I shall overlay some images, because this has got adaptive cruise control, and it changes speed depending on what the zone is which you're in, because it's got the dynamic sign recognition. So if you're in a 30 zone and you're coming into a 60, it can change, automatically notify it, and if you've got the adaptive cruise control on, it'll automatically accelerate. And also, if you're in a 60 coming into a 30, it'll decelerate. It's also got, as you're approaching a corner or something like that, a bend, or if you're approaching a roundabout, it can recognise that and then also start applying the brake if you so wish. You obviously don't need to have that if you don't want, but it is actually quite good. The way technology is going these days, it certainly is coming along at an alarming rate. So, like we said, we've got the orange in here. Now this is a little bit kind of plasticky. This is nice bit of leather here, and then some more, unfortunately, hard plastic up here. But if this was mine, so if I was buying a used vehicle and I wasn't doing it on the PCP or contract hire or anything like that, so I could actually do whatever I wanted to the vehicle, I might actually, you know, put that in Alcantara or maybe leather trim it or something like that. You know, you could buy a cheaper vehicle and kind of do things like that. Now in here, we've got the drinks holders. Now this is interesting because you automatically grip it like that, which means that button. Now I did actually open this the other day when I was actually driving. Unfortunately, the window didn't open. But yeah, you've got your cup holders in there. You've also got another cup holder in here, so you should wish, with the ice scraper, etc., and the bottle opener, which I'm sure you've all seen before, because this is the buzz box which comes out. You can take it out and you can get that access into the back, but you've also got a nice little storage compartment there, so deep pockets. So you've got loads of different storage areas, lots of different pocket bins. You know, you've got one over here, you've got the glove box down here, you've got lots of little ones in the door pockets, big one down at the bottom, big bins down there, and you can see we've got all these speakers. And then over here we've got USB-Cs and then wireless charging down there. There's absolutely loads of charging points in here, loads of USB-C ports. Just like if you want to charge something, there's, you know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got the dash cam one up there, 6. You know, you've got plenty of charging options. So yeah, so the actual spec of this vehicle is good. Now, I'd said about this big screen, and I love it. I actually prefer it, dare I say it, to my Halo 11. It just, I think it's got a better resolution. It's good. Now, the problem which I had, well, it wasn't a problem. It just sits kind of very vertical, but I've actually got used to it now, and you tilt the seat further back a little bit and it's absolutely fine. Yeah, there's no issues with that at all. And like I've said, these seats are just extremely comfortable. This bolster in here, you know, really does help. It is a very, very comfortable seat. There's definitely no complaints. And then you've got the armrests as well. So armrests both sides, so it's captain seats for passenger and driver. And yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. It's an absolute joy to drive, absolute joy to be in. It's really comfortable. But I'm going to get this back now to the dealership. And yeah, I shall give you my thoughts in a little while. So yeah, I'm going to pop it in. We'll probably go through some talking about what I think of it, what the figures are, what the costs would be for me to buy one of these vehicles. And then I will report back with the full information of the mileage, what it's cost me, what I think of it, will I be buying one, what I think the future is. So yeah, so don't go away just yet. I'll be back with all that information in a moment. I have a big problem and I don't know what to do. I absolutely love this vehicle. The way it drives, it's smooth, it's comfortable, the technology which it has. Plus, it is a really, really cool van. But they're certainly not cheap. But then again, nothing is these days. Even your standard cars. I mean, like we said previously, look at panel vans now. The cheap Transit, the builder's van. It's now starting at 40 grand. So as far as price is concerned, everything has gone up. But what about the actual cost of journeys? The charging, the ability to essentially save money because you're not putting the diesel or the petrol in your vehicle. That's where people make you say you save money. But on this trip, without a home charger, I certainly didn't. I'll give you what it actually cost me in a moment. But theoretically, what I've actually done, I've actually pretended that when I've got the full charge after the first day, I'm actually going to just pretend that I've done that at home. So just to give myself an idea as to what it really would cost me in the real world if I did have one of these vehicles. And I'll come on to do I actually want one of these vehicles. Let's have a look at what the charging costs of this trip actually was. So like I've said, I've not got a home charger, but to fully charge my journey at home, it would have been about £6. And that is if I'd got a cheaper tariff, one of the new tariffs from OVO Energy or Octopus Energy or somebody like that. That's kind of what I would go for in the event of me actually buying one of these vehicles. So on that second day, essentially the first day of the big trip, we stopped at Gloucester Services and we did that charge there, which brought fantastic services, really nice breakfast, and the charge there was £49.40. First day charging that was done because don't forget we got there on that one charge. So the next day, that Trafford Centre charge wasn't there for very long. It was a slow charger, so didn't put many kilowatts in there. So that was £4.02. Then we moved on to St Helens stop, and that one was £47.10 because that was a big charge. Rapid charger, stuck a lot of kilowatts in there. And then we stopped again on the way home. Quick stop at Gloucester, £20.90. And then we did the extra stop at Exeter Services, one because I wanted to test it out, and two because I wanted a better charge for the next day, and that was £27.07. And I think that might be my favourite charging station of everything which we did. So the next day I set off back to Poole, and again, let's theoretically say that that was a home charge, and that would have been about £6, basing that on a 7 pence, 8 pence per kilowatt hour charge. So that means that that total trip would have cost £160.49. So although I didn't really need that extra stop, that extra one which I did, so you could essentially say it's about £130, but that's not what it actually cost me, because I didn't have that home charger. I had to actually use the public services, as you saw. So for the total mileage, for all the charges which I did, and some of them were just to kind of test them out, but it was £215.64. So that's total mileage of probably closer to about 900 miles. So 900 miles for £215. Yeah, more than a diesel vehicle? Yeah, it might well be, but that is because I was testing them. You know, I went to the rapid chargers because I wanted to see what they were like and test out various different facilities. If I'd thought about it more, then I certainly wouldn't have been paying anywhere near that, because I would have gone for the slower chargers, the ones which don't charge you as much, and I just thought about it a bit more. It was just an experiment, so the charging costs are probably more than it would have been. So what is my final verdict? Would I buy an ID Buzz? Well, if that range was more, it would be a 100%. As it stands, I am a little bit unsure. You know, I think for 90% of the journeys which I do, that this would be absolutely fine. Well, not this is my Transporter. But as I plan to go further afield this year, do some longer trips, I'm not actually sure. But, however, since coming back, I have been looking at the ID7 Tourer, as that has a much longer range, 434 miles for the Pro S. But it isn't a van, it is an estate car. But that could put me on the path which I feel I should be on. I can't get off the vehicle buying sites. I loved the electric vehicle, and specifically the VW side of things, just the way it's all set up, and I just really like it. I'm really, really impressed. In fact, I may or may not have already made an inquiry. I have a lot of thinking to do. Should I buy a car as a daily, an electric car, and then buy an old T4 or T5 as a camper, build a budget camper van, a project van for the channel? I'd love to buy a crafter, but there's no chance of that financially. That is the long-term goal. That is the plan, what I plan to do. Have a daily driver and then a much bigger camper van. Just not there financially. Maybe I should just speak to some camper van converters and manufacturers just to see if I could get regular loan vehicles, because that would replace the need for a camper, just whilst I built up some funds to be able to get one, and then did that budget camper, just so people can see you don't have to spend a fortune to be building your own camper. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm not 100% sure, but I am looking into electric cars. I have a lot of thinking to do, and maybe I should look at my own videos and look at some of the amazing vans I saw at the last show. Thanks for watching, take care, and I hope to see you soon.